Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talladega Superspeedway. Tonight, we got a new and interesting one. You better believe I'm excited. It's DaleCup at Talladega Superspeedway. 2 races left in the season. Let's jump right in with your race info. Big 2.66 mile superspeedway with a tri-oval on the front, heavy banking in the corners. Take a look at the weather, a little different than what we usually see in races, and that's because DaleCup has a different way of doing things. We'll talk more about that as we get into it. Looks like temps in the 60s, 0% humidity, overcast, and 1 mile an hour winds. We are in the NASCAR Legacy Truck Series. It's going to be a 40-lap event, 40% fuel, 1 tire set. May play a little bit of a factor on these cars. 1 faster pair, and of course, it is going to be fixed setups. How about we get now into your starting grid, starting on the pole. We've seen this in many money races. Now we're here in his own series. Steve Korosek starts first to the outside. Guy who I heard his birthday is tomorrow. That's Zachary Lima. We'll see if he can get a win tonight to make it that much sweeter. Cody Nagel starts third. The outside of row 2 is going to be Richard Sanchez. Vicente Guerrero starts 5th. 6th is going to be Timmy Reed. 7th, last week's winner, Paul Witt. 8th is going to be Matt Wagner. 9th is going to be, it looks like that is Michael Melox, unless I am pronouncing that wrong. Still getting used to some of these guys. 10th is going to be Dawson Wise. 11th, Mike Rimkus. 12th, Michael Triscaro, saw him the other night, owner of PGR Money Racing, of course. Moving right down, 13th is going to be Dave Hunt. Outside of row 7 is going to be Chad Rowe. 15th is going to be Ambrose Kniebel to his outside, and 16th is going to be Don Runkle Jr. And rounding out the field for 17 trucks tonight, last car in the field is going to be Gail Brooks in the 71 Tide Racing Machine. And you see pace truck, just starting to roll off now. We're getting ready to go green. We still have a couple things that we're going to have to set up here. One of those being the audio, of course, because we can't have a race without hearing these loud V8s. Let's get some of these things off, get ready. And we will go show your pole sitter in just a second. I'll be right back while I put the sound on. Stay with us. There we go, back at Talladega Superspeedway. Let's go down to your pole sitter, Mr. Steve Korosek, riding around in the 27 machine. Still has my favorite helmet of any of the drivers. And I want to let everybody know something now in case you're new to watching this. DaleCup, probably something you've never seen before. I can tell you it's probably something that I sure as heck haven't seen before. Heard earlier that these guys normally run in about 100% fog. Should be 100% relative humidity, of course. Sounds brutal. I don't think I've ever seen that on iRacing, but these guys are crazy, but beyond crazy, they are all extremely talented. I've seen some of these guys in the more serious races. Steve Korosek, Zachary Lima, Cody Nagels, Richard Sanchez, actually all of your top 4, and a couple more. Boy, they know how to get it done. And I think they are going to be going at it full force tonight from the drop of the green. 40 laps, they're going to have to make a couple pit stops. I think we'll go green pretty far through this thing. No scheduled cautions. It is admin cautions as well. We'll see how it all pans out. There is going to be a championship belt on the line for the winner at the end of the season with just 2 races left. Paul Witt is currently leading the points battle. We'll see if he can get another win tonight. Try to further himself from the rest of the field. You see it here. Paul Witt does start in 7th place in the 429 max speed TV car. 00, but here we go. Pace truck is going to pull off. Steve Korosek, Zachary Lima have the field in tow. Cody Nagels, Richard Sanchez ready to give him a push. It's the first race for DaleCup here on Ghost Racing Network. We're ready to go. Into the Geico restart zone they go. Green flag is out. We're racing at Talladega. How about the initial start here? Looks pretty even. Nobody really gets an advantage yet. I'm really interested to see how these guys can dice it up. We don't see the NASCAR Legacy trucks around that many series still. And I want to see just how the rest of these guys can push. And I know Legacy Daytona, these things are a little bit of a handful, but Talladega is a lot smoother track. Down the backstretch for the first time, Steve Korosek, Cody Nagels get linked up. And they're going to be able to hold off the charge from Zachary Lima as they dive down into turn 3 for the first time. Richard Sanchez gave him a push, had to back off a little bit as they make their way into the corner. And I know normally you guys will hear me say you can't push in the corners. We'll see if these guys can find a way to do it. Steve Korosek Looking like he's going to be able to lead lap 1. If Cody Nagels can get clear, we'll see if he decides to jump up. That is a couple teammates there. And actually, Cody messaged me some of the teams earlier. And you know what? That is the one thing I forgot to put on for these guys. We got everything else set up for them, but we'll have it ready for next week. But up front, it's still the 27, the 25, Zachary Lima. Let's look further back. Looks like, is Zach in the 29 or 25 tonight? Looks like he is in the 25. Shows his tires has the 29. Anyway, let's look a little further back in this pack, see what some of these guys are running right now. Rounding out the field is going to be Gil Brooks in the 71, maybe just riding around us. We're going to see our first shot at 3 wide. How about Don Runkle, Chad Rowe, Michael Triscaro, Ambrose Kniebel. Driver out of Gold Bar, Washington in the 04. Marlboro machine, we'll see what he can do, but up front, still 2x2. Once you get a couple rows back, we saw the 98. Yep, there he is. That is going to be the 98. Dawson Wise, he's going to have Michael Triscaro behind him, and now Ambrose Kniebel is also going to jump to the top. Guys getting feisty early. It looks like the Mellow Yellow machine's thought about doing it. He's going to think better of it. That would be Timmy Reed. Good looking paint schemes out here too, I'll tell you what. 3 of 40 laps down though. Drivers wasting no time getting right to it. Right on board with one of these guys in the middle of the pack. Let's pick somebody random here. Take a look at some of the chaos. You see it here. They can actually see a little different view in these trucks. Boy, look at the way the roll cage is built in the front windshield. Little different. These things feel, they don't feel quite as on the ground unless as these guys are all on fixed setups. So these things will feel a little bit weird sometimes. Almost, I guess the best way to put it, the last time I was in these, it feels like they're almost on softer shocks or springs, whatever you want to call it. They just don't, you can't feel every bump, it seems like, as much as in the newer truck series. Going further back, it's like the 5'10 Richard Sanchez. He's ready to go for it. 256, Timmy Reed thought about following him. He's going to leave him out to dry, though. That's going to send Richard Sanchez back in a hurry. He's going to have to try to find some help. Looks like he was able to drop behind the Mellow Yellow machine. We do have 17 cars, as noted earlier, in the field. Not a bad field. Remember, it starts out a lot bigger, but with only 2 races left in the season, a lot of these guys know they're out of it. Just decided to park it, take it home for the rest of the season, get ready for next year. Taking a look out the back, Matt Wagner currently sitting on the inside, their last car on the inside. Behind him is the 98 now of Dawson Wise. How about Matt Wagner, driver out of Knoxville? Everybody switching spots. They do all have that faster pair, so they don't have to be too nervous about racing. But here we go. The 6, Cody Nagels, jumps up. He's going to get some help from Zachary Lima in the middle. Are going to see the 429 machine, Paul Witt, last week's winner. Now he watches the 29. Zachary Lima is actually the 29. Drop down in front of him. Michael Triscaro loses both guys that he was working with. He's going to have to find some help. It looks like he might get some from the 069. That's Chad Rowe. How about this paint scheme? Don Runkle Jr. running the Rick and Morty. You got to pick a driver just based off your favorite show. It's going to be my vote. But up front, Steve Korsak has been leading since the drop to green. Rand pole, however, Zachary Lima, Cody Nagels, they've been moving around a little bit. We've seen Zachary Lima fall back. Was that lead car on the outside? Cody Nagels has taken responsibility of that position. The 14, though, Vicente Guerrero, he's up here behind him. The 00, Michael Malix. These guys look like they're getting a little bit more risky as it goes on. I want to look out the front of Zachary Lima. It looks like he is able to really link onto the 6. I'm kind of surprised they're not making more progress than they are. Just got aboard a couple of views. First, we'll go to his gyro cam here. See just how close Zachary's able to ride. Maybe even just flirting with the back bumper. And now they get into the short shoot. He's really going to give it to him. Right out on the nose of this machine. There you go. If you think he is not right on the bumper, boy, look. All you can see is the right side. I think he's offset himself to the right just a little bit in case that gets the 6 a little out of shape. Don't want to get into the left side as that can get that truck turned around. Down the back. Looks like he's going through his bumper just about. Behind him, he's got another guy trying to get him to the front. That looks like it is going to be the 429 of Paul Witt. we look at it from the blimp cam, just how tight this pack is running. Anybody that's out back not going to lose touch with this draft. They know how important it is to stay in it. Dave Hunt, you see him in the 53, fifth car on the bottom right in front of him is going to be the Monster Energy Machine of Mike Rimkus. The 3 wide has kind of faded out. I'll tell you what we've seen so far with these trucks. Looks like the momentum's swinging around a lot more. And in the other series, a lot of times we'll see guys just simply get stalled out side by side. This could very well be Cody Nagels trying to set up a couple runs. A lot of times the best way to get a jump on that other lane is if you back it up a little bit, get a big push. That backstretch is usually the place you want to do it at. Down in the turns, that inside is the shorter way around, and we're seeing that right there. The 40% fuel, that should mean pit stops coming up relatively shortly, because 50, that should, I'm going to give a general fuel window here. I think I'll have a better idea of it after we see it on their first stop, but the fuel window should be between 10 and 20 laps. Narrow that down a little bit more and say 10 to 16 laps, so I think somewhere in between the next 6 to 7 laps, we are going to see all these drivers make their first of a couple pit stops. Not going to be able to make it on one stop. We'll have to see if they can make it on 2, though. They should be able to. Of course, they will get 30 after one stop, so they are going to need a little bit more. And who takes tires? These Legacy trucks need it. Got to do good on the early pit stops. I wouldn't necessarily say this is the money stop yet, but I mean, you can just see these guys look very comfortable out there. Trucks not having an issue in terms of handling. With the way it's going, I would not be wanting to sit on a caution right now. Ambrose Knievel sitting back further right here. I think I'd want to be up there right now knowing that I'm in position. If this thing were to stay and just go green the rest of the way, I'd maybe have the best shot of winning it. Cody Nagel, Steve Korsak have stayed side by side, but it looks like the momentum has just stuck with that bottom so far tonight. Cody Nagels has been trying, and so has Zachary Lima, but they just haven't quite been able to get up there. Another thing to watch with these trucks, again, not as familiar with these trucks as I am with the Craftsman Truck Series, the newer trucks, that is, but if we ride on board here, Vicente Guerrero, Zachary, let's go Zachary here for it actually, because I want to show you here how close he's riding, but watch, you won't actually be able to see it here on the broadcast, they don't show it. Look at his gauges there. He's got the main gauge right above that main gauge is the oil temps, right to the left of it is the water temps. These guys are going to have to keep an eye on those temperatures as this race goes on, pushing starts to pick up. You want to keep your guy out in front, but you can't overheat your truck. You blow up your engine by yourself, no caution. Your night is done. About Vicente Guerrero, though. He is really putting in the work in that 14 machine right now. Very impressive. Now we do a little... Actually, you know what? I think we'll hold off the Crank It Up segment tonight because I think pit stop should be coming up here in just a few laps now. I'm not sure if these guys are planning on running it out the first 2 times or if they're going to short pit on their next stop. Varying strategies could play a role. We'll have to see. Of course, we did have 17 trucks start the race. You better believe we still have all 17 on the lead lap and up here running. Mike Davenport in the chat says, let's go Michael Fiscaro. Currently sitting in 7th, up 5 spots from where he qualified. Looks like 069, that's Chad Rowe. He's going to jump to the top. We'll see if he's trying to fall back or go forward. I'll tell you what, if he's trying to go forward, it's not going to work out this time, as the 98 Dawson Wise is going to leave him out to dry. Falls back in line, but you see it hurt that outside line. Cody Nagel's falling back. They are, of course, going to have to drop down low once they know it's time to pit. They're not going to be able to all pit from that top lane. You could maybe try it if everybody decides to go in on the same lap. That's usually kind of a risky idea, and I don't necessarily think we're going to see that from these guys, especially this early. Maybe on the second pit stop. Got a quick rundown here of a couple of the teams. The drivers right now for DaleCup, Team DaleCup, of course it is, as this is the DaleCup Series. It is going to be Cody Nagels, Steve Korsak, and Zachary Lima. Looks like Sebastian Martin, but he is not here tonight, is also on DaleCup. We also have one of the other big teams is Limitless. That's going to be Paul Witt, last week's winner, Vicente Guerrero, who is currently second, and BK Anderson, who I did not see out here tonight. And Cody was telling me earlier, these teams kind of run together sometimes, but of course you can only get so many teammates before teams are going to start to break into more teams. That's what we're kind of seeing. But how about time of day right now? Boy, it is dark on this track. Maybe these guys were having a little bit of a visibility issue, but that doesn't seem to be the case. One of the things I'm really excited about here broadcasting DaleCup, it's just different, you know, different, exciting. These guys, like I said, seem like the kind of bunch that like to be crazy, but boy, they can put on a show when they need to. Right on the left rear here. Left rear, there we go. Michael Triscaro. He's getting a pretty good view. These trucks all pretty close. Nobody worried about saving fuel right now. Still waiting on pit stops, and here we go. We're going to see at least a couple guys decide to pit right here. You got to get in clean. Oh, we got one locked up, and he's going to slide it into the grass. That is last week's winner, Paul Witt. Mistake early. Looks like he is able to get it back on, and I'll tell you what, if he didn't get a penalty, I think he still would have, though. Potentially an unsafe pit entrance. That's going to cost him a lot here early. We'll see what the rest of these guys decide to do. Brought about 7 cars down pit road. We'll see who wins the race out. Richard Sanchez, the closest box to the pit exit, and it looks like the 14 of Vicente Guerrero is going to win it out in the 420. Rick and Morty car, followed by the 11 Matt Wagner, the 069. Let's go back up front. I think we're about to see these guys also pit here. It looks like Cody Nagel, Zachary Lima have jumped in front of Steve Korsak. Here we go. Sure enough, they're coming down the pits this time. Got to get in very, very carefully here. Oh, and the 6, Cody Nagels locks it up. Was able to keep from going in the grass. We'll see if he gets a penalty for it. And just like that, we are already at 25 laps to go. That is just 5 away from halfway. Everybody looking like they're going to get into their box, clean it. Of course, if you like what you're seeing tonight, you may be interested in joining DaleCup. We have the Discord for you in the description. Go check it out. Also, check out Swift Lifestyles. I believe it is an energy supplement. Professional gamers from what I've heard, but coolest thing about it, DaleCups has their own flavor of it. You can go check that out. We also left that link for you below, but Swift Lifestyles, of course, one of the sponsors here for DaleCup. That is now just going to leave Dave Hunt by himself. I think we will see him indeed come down pit road this time. Sure enough, peels off out of turn 4, ducks below the yellow. And he at least does not have to worry about the rest of the traffic. Let's watch this track map and pit road right here, because this is where the race is going to narrow down. We'll see if anybody falls out of the pack from those pit stops. I think we will probably lose a couple, because you see it on your track map right there. Everybody is not together. We'll see how David Hunt manages to get out compared to the rest of these drivers as they're working their way off turn 4 now. David's still waiting to get out of pit road. They got to gas these things all the way up. And watch for the rest of the field. That is going to be the 71, Gail Brooks. There goes the 53, the 429, Paul Witt. Those guys all in danger, I believe, of going a lap down, unless I potentially miss something. Like I said, we will sort all this out. But there goes Zachary Lima, who is going to be your current leader. Second is going to be Cody Nagels. Third, Steve Korsak. Fourth, Mike Rimkus. And fifth is Vicente Guerrero. But Steve Korsak, he's ready to get a little race. He looked like he thought about jumping to the top in front of Vicente. Not going to be able to do it. Has to go back low. We'll see if Cody Nagels jumps out. Sure enough, there he goes in the 6. The 14 trying to get up to him. And Vicente Guerrero has looked like maybe the best pusher. But it looks like he doesn't want to push anymore. He jumps right to the top. Leaves Cody Nagels to the middle. Richard Sanchez is going to go up top with him. So is the 98, Dawson Wise. Oh, and we're going to have someone else come back down pit road. It looks like that might have been the Monster Energy car. Couldn't tell exactly what it was. 987, I know that. That is going to be Mike Rimkus. Maybe serving a penalty here. And let's go through the field and see how it shuffled out for a couple of these guys after that pit stop. Paul Witt currently sitting in last. He is not a lap down, though, just yet. He is in danger of going a lap down, though. We can take a look at that on your track map.
Yellow flag
yellow flag is out. Oh, no, Richard Sanchez, it looks like has had trouble. Oh, big damage on the 510. Boy, that thing is destroyed on the front end. What happened? Dawson Wise is in it. We got a couple drivers in this one. Wow, a lot of guys had to tow. Cody Nagels. Let's go see what happened here to bring out the first caution of the night. We went to go look There were some of these drivers had circled out of pit road, and then all of a sudden, caution was waived. This potentially started somewhere with Richard Sanchez, so that's what. Oh my goodness! Big wreck. What went wrong right here? This is going to start a little farther up, actually, with Cody Nagels in the 6. 256, that's the mellow yellow car. Let's see if we get a little bit of a broader view here to figure out what initially goes so wrong. Take a look from the chopper. Everybody's pushing. Oh, wow, that must have been... This might have been just a huge net code from the 510. That's about my best guess. Oh, man, that thing came around slow. We'll have to take a look at it. For now, I'm going to say net code, but we'll keep it in the back of our minds. Either way, gets down to the 27. Steve Korsak sends him up into Vicente Guerrero. Vicente into the wall, and then they're going to start piling up here. Watch the 510 as you see the 6. Cody Nagels down low, but he's not done. Coming back up, they're still wrecking the 256 slides. The 98 gets in it, and right here is where some of these big hits are going to take place. Boom. 98 gets propped up. The 6 gets caught in the wall. Goes flying into the catch fence. Does he actually get out of the track? Just about. Somehow stays in. The 256 of Timmy Reed. See him up there, and it looks like someone snuck through there. Couldn't tell exactly who that was that just stuck through. Yeah, it looks like that might have been the 420 car. Don't believe so. Michael Triscaro. Nope, it's going to be the 00. That's who I was thinking of. Michael Malix. Let's take one more view of this. Let's ride on board, though, here with Cody Nagels. Boy, did he take a ride. Here we go. Driver, the number 6. Take a listen. Oh, let's back this up a little bit more before he heads off to outer space. See how this thing starts. What I do want to... Actually, before we get to him, let's look at where this wreck starts. Richard Sanchez. Watch his wheel. Let's play it at normal speed and see if we can get an idea of what went wrong here. Oh, man. Gotta think maybe that's a net code. Very, very odd. Wouldn't think Richard Sanchez lost it there, so I would pin that one on a net code. Maybe we'll find out if we see him in the booth after the race. But here we go. Ride on board with the 6. And boy, did Cody go for a ride. Toes that thing right away. Go back live. Up front, talk about your top 5. It shuffled it up a bit. Michael Malix, who we saw do a good job. It looked like he was the car that got through it. It may have been a different driver. Either way, though, the 00 is in the lead, followed by Dave Hunt, Zachary Lima, Steve Korsak, and Ambrose Kniebel in 5th. Ambrose having a good run. Driver out of Gold Bar, Washington. Alive and running suicide awareness and prevention. Runs that on his Xfinity car. Also, I believe he might run it on his Cup car as well. Whoever has the different scheme for the Truck Series. Let's see how some of these guys fared that had damage. I'll tell you what, Cody Nagels looks like chose not to use his fast... Sorry, not Cody Nagels. Vicente Guerrero, rather. Looks like he chose to not use his fast spare yet. That is... Not sure if that's the best choice right now. Dawson Wise still sitting on pit road. So is Richard Sanchez, Cody Nagels, Paul Witt, currently 14th. In front of him is the 71, Gale Brooks. Oh, and I do apologize here. The screen just had a little glitch. Let's get this back to full screen for everybody. And I'll tell you what, while these guys are getting ready to go, pace car lights, pace truck lights rather, lights should be going off this time. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, but you won't miss a thing. We go Ghost Racing Network side by side. We're back live just in time for the second restart here of the day. First caution. Everybody's got themselves cleaned up, and we're ready to go back racing. It's going to be Michael Malix, Dave Hunt, Steve Korsak, Zachary Lima, your top four. Green flag back in the air at Talladega. Ooh, the 00 got a pretty good little shot from Zachary Lima, but Steve Korsak takes a different approach. He's going to link up slowly to the 53. Good push from the outside coming. Matt Wagner in the 11 trying to link on as well. We'll see just how quick before they start going three wide. Zachary Lima able to fight back, pushing that 00 back out in front right now. Down the backstretch this first time is going to be a big time for this outside to really get that momentum. Can they get clear? Steve Korsak pushing hard on the 53. Zachary Lima, though, not trying to let it happen. Either way, they get clear. Steve Korsak might also get clear, decides to stay high, even if he did. That is going to put the 11 of Matt Wagner in lead pusher position. The 069 Chad Rowe, he's made his way up here. He's in sixth place. And the 04 of Ambrose Knievel. All these guys are able to keep pace now. Cody Nagels maybe not able to quite catch the field in time. Richard Sanchez drafting with the 98 of Dawson Wise. It looks like Cody right now going to need a caution, unfortunately. We now have narrowed it down to 14 cars on the lead lap. Dawson Wise, Cody Nagels, both a lap down, and Richard Sanchez, of course, 2 laps down. 18 laps to go. These guys not able to make it all the way on fuel. There is still going to be another pit stop. Ooh, the 00 is getting risky. You saw him jump out of line. Michael Malix is on a mission. Steve Korsak going to try to get him there with the push. And these guys, I don't think they cared too much that we just had a caution. They are right back to 3 wide action, the 71. We saw him sitting back earlier, but it looks like Gale Brooks is ready to go, and he's going to try to push Chad Rowe all the way to the front if he can. That middle and bottom lane going to be a tough fight to get there, though, especially with only 2 trucks. But Matt Wagner tried to jump high. Notice he didn't get any help, tucks right back in line. And it'll be interesting if we see guys hit as soon as the fuel window opens, or if they try to wait a little longer. That fuel window should open. Oh, we got one of the, oh, big hit for the 00 back in the middle of the pack. No caution, but he is in the catch fence. Oh my goodness. 00 back down on all 4 yellows out. That thing is still wrecking. Somehow the only car in it. Cody Nagels arrives on the scene, stays well out of the way, and he is going to have to just tow that thing to pit road, I would think. Surely no ways. I think he's trying to get it restarted, but that thing is destroyed. There he goes. Takes it to the pits. Let's take a look at what brings out your second caution. This is going to easily be the wildest ride of the night. Holy cow, that truck went dead right. Steve Korsak trying to get him to the front. You see him pushing here. This is a little bit of risk. Just barely gets offset to the right. That sends him down, and then that'll just clip him. Boom, big hit into the outside wall. Flies right back in the middle of the pack on top of the 11. Gets tagged by the 04 Ambrose Knievel. That sends him back up, bounces off the wall. I think he's going to get hit again here by the 420, and then gets propelled up into the air by the 069 up into the catch fence. And it looks like that 069 took some damage. Gets a couple barrel rolls in here before he's finally going to flip back on all 4 wheels, but he is 110% going to have to use a fast repair on that thing. We have got to ride on board with this one, but be careful. You might get a little dizzy. Holy cow. Here we go. And I'll tell you what, Michael may not know where he was right now. That might have been why we saw him take a minute to tow that thing, because that was a wild ride. I think we will see everybody pit here. Go back live. See if that is the case. Sure enough, Dave Hunt's going to lead him down in the 53 car. Pit road going to be a very busy place. This is the money stop. I know it's under caution, but drivers believe they either can make it from here, or it would be really, really borderline close. We'll have to see. 27, Steve Korsak. 429, Paul Witt. Looks like Steve is staying on pit road. You see he does have some damage to that right front. Pretty significant. Maybe going to try to use optional. Save that fast repair in case things get really crazy at the end, as if they haven't been crazy enough. I have already seen two of the wildest wrecks I've seen in a while, but I think that wreck right there by Michael Malex is going to take the cake. I mean, I didn't even know a truck could hit the wall that hard. Meanwhile, up front, Zachary Lima up where he wants to be. 29 Red Bull Racing Machine out in front. Has a birthday tomorrow. Steve Korsek told me earlier, maybe thinking about pushing Lima to a win. Said, I don't know. We'll have to see. Behind him, though, is going to be Vicente Guerrero. Third, Dave Hunt. Fourth, Matt Wagner. Rounding out the top five is going to be Paul Witt. Last week's winner, of course, and points leader at the moment. About the 987 of Mike Rimkus. Having a solid run, Michael Triscaro. And that should have gotten somebody back on the lead lap. Either Cody Nagels or Dawson Wise. We'll have to see as it sorts itself out right here. They are currently in the pits. When we go green, it is going to be what looks like a 13-lap shootout. So I wouldn't be surprised if a couple drivers do decide to come back down pit road, top off, just to be safe. After that, checkers or wreckers, these guys going to leave it all out there on the track tonight. And if you are tuning in, you are watching DaleCup Race 8 of 9. The fight for the championship belt at the end of the season. If you didn't hear us say it, Paul Witt, driver of the 429, currently sitting in that 5th place. Won last week, is the current points leader. We have one more race next week that will also be streamed here on Ghost Racing Network. And we will see who takes home all the winnings, and the winnings being that belt, of course. Thank you for watching here on Ghost Racing Network. Hope everybody is enjoying the broadcast. A little bit of a smaller field tonight. That is, of course, because a lot of these drivers, not the ones that are out here, of course, but the ones that are not here, know that they're out of the championship battle, just preparing for next season. And just as we expected, here we go. We're seeing a lot of drivers back down the pits. Going to top off on fuel. Some of them, I think, going to risk it, try to stay out safe. They want that track position. Maybe expecting another caution. We'll have to see, but that is going to change up the top 5 a little bit, as it looks like Dave Hunt did decide to stay out, followed by Mike Rimkus, Michael Triscaro, and Chad Ross. 4th. 5th is going to be Vicente Guerrero. Looks like he does win the race out of pit road. Paul Witt, 2nd in the race out of pit road. Going to be restarting 7th, it looks like, on this restart. Nope, 6th, excuse me. Sure enough, the lights are off on the pace truck. That means we are going green this time. How about Dave Hunt? Talked a little bit about him earlier, but the driver out of North Lake, Texas. Up here on the inside, he's going to be getting a push from Michael Triscaro, who's going to do a better job of push, because right to their outside is going to be the 987 of Mike Rimkus, and the Monster Energy Machine behind him is going to be the 069 of Chad Rowe. For anybody that was curious about what the spread of the field is looking like in terms of manufacturer tonight, it's not a hard one. All Chevys. That is because for the Legacy trucks, you can, of course, only do the Chevy. Good truck, though, to be. Just had to adjust quick audio real quick. Some of these guys that were further back that were involved in that, they're going to be fighting really hard here to get back up to the front. Actually, let's go back to your gap here, and you can see it here. It looks like Cody Nagels did get his lap back. Richard Sanchez now a lap down. It also looks like Dawson Wise did as well. Richard Sanchez, unfortunately, has fallen a lap down now. Michael Malex, who we saw flipping in that wreck, was able to get the truck cleaned up. Unfortunately, though, is 2 laps down. We see some cautions, though. You never know, right? Richard Sanchez in the 510. Steve Korsek, a little surprised, didn't choose to use that faster car, unless he may have been one of the drivers that used it earlier. I may have potentially missed something, but the 27 machine not looking very aerodynamic and fast right now. Usually you can get away with it. We'll have to find out, though. It depends on if you have engine damage. Dave Hunt's got the field in tow. He's ready to go. It could be the final restart. We'll find out. Here we go, though. Michael Triscaro, can he give him the push? Outside, only 2 cars. Green flag is back out in DaleCup at Talladega. Big jump by the 53. He is going to be a sitting duck once they get to him right here. The 987, the 069. They're trying to get to the front, but they only have 2 trucks. They're going to need some more. 34, Michael Triscaro, you see it, he's got a little bit of damage. Doesn't really seem to be affecting him right now. All of a sudden, that outside's lining up. Zachary Lima being aggressive as we would expect. There he goes to the top. He's going to get help from Matt Wagner. Cody Nagels also jumps to the top just like that. 069 falling way back. Looks like the 987 found a spot in line. And we will be coming to 12 laps to go next time. Everybody getting racy. Put all your chips on the table now. So it looks like Steve Korsak falling back. Ambrose Knievel sitting back. I think he thinks these guys are maybe going to pile it up one more time. But just like that, Zachary Lima trying to take the lead on the outside. He's got Matt Wagner behind him. The 069, the third car line. But here comes Cody Nagels, who we just saw in a wreck earlier. He is back out up here. 3x3 into turn one. Everybody pushing as hard as they can. Got to be careful. Looks like Cody Nagels gets the lead for just a second. We'll see if he can hold it. Dawson Wise trying to push with everything he's got to keep him out in front. And sure enough, it's going to pay off. He gets clear for a moment. Will he drop down in front of Zachary Lima? He does. Drops right down in front of the 29. Slides just across the nose. Now the 11 drops low. That's going to put Zachary Lima in the middle. Up top, the 98. Dawson Wise is going to get a push from the 00. And that is a lap car. That's Michael Malox. He doesn't care. He's going to try to get back up in the action. Unfortunately, gets up into the wall. Everybody gathers themselves back up front. They're still shuffling for position. Cody Nagels doesn't have any help right now. Matt Wagner takes the lead with Dave Hunt behind him. Will Zachary Lima try to push who is supposed to be his teammate, Cody Nagels? Nope, he's going to jump right to his outside. Looks like the 34, Michael Triscaro, is going to slide right up in front of the 6. We'll see what the 6 does about it. And he is just going to link on and push right now. Michael Triscaro trying to go. He's got a little damage on the front. We'll see if it affects him. Ambrose Knievel still way back. Take a look at your track map one more time. You see it. Steve Korsak heavily damaged in turn one right now. Probably hoping these guys are going to wreck again. Maybe can use a fast spur if he still has one. Up top, the 98. Dawson Wise gets back into the wall a little bit. Riding out the back. Dave Hunt. See the 987 behind him. Michael Triscaro just to his outside. Oh, it looks like we just had one get shuffled out. I couldn't tell who it was. It was going to be the 6, Cody Nagels. Michael Triscaro getting all he can handle right now from the 14. You see that truck get a little sideways in the trial. Is going to halt their progress temporarily. Trying to gather it back up here, though, down in turn one. And I think if anybody figures out that 34 has a little bit of front end damage, they're going to put him in the middle as soon as they can. Down the backstretch with 10 laps to go. Ambrose Knievel has fallen off the pack. Sure, maybe has some more damage than it looked like initially from what we saw. The 71 right near the backs. Michael Malex has fallen back as well. Right now, Richard Sanchez in the lucky dog position if he can avoid the wreck. If not, Michael Malex trying to get it. But how about the 11 of Matt Wagner out front? We saw him sitting towards the back earlier, playing it safe. Boy, I did not expect to see him get this racy this quick, but that's what these drivers are capable of here in DaleCup. Very talented field. All of a sudden, that 3 wide up top starting to show a little bit of strength. Cody Nagels now side by side with the 34, Michael Triscaro. We'll see if he decides to drop down. I think that 34 is a better pusher than it is a leader right now. But he is trying to get to the front. Cody Nagels with Dawson Wise and Zachary Lima. That is 3 very strong trucks lined up on the top. Let's take a look at some of the speeds these guys are running. One thing we haven't looked at so far tonight, 192 down the back. Your leader, Cody Nagels, with a big run, gets up to 196. Absolutely flying, faster than the trucks nowadays go. 3x3, all of a sudden Michael Triscaro gets a peek at the lead. Maybe a little contact right there with the 6. Everybody keeps it together still. And these guys are doing a magnificent job as we're coming to 8 laps to go. I don't know if we're going to make it to the white flag. If we do, it would be no more cautions, but that is a long way from home still. Matt Wagner still holding the lead. How long and hard can that 53 push before that engine starts to get too hot and he has to back off? Same deal with the 98 and the 14. Vicente Guerrero was one of the better pushers early. I think that damage has just hurt a little bit, but they are coming up on the lap car of Steve Korsak, 27. Should say lap truck, used to be in the Xfinity cars. Little bobble there from the 11's, able to keep it together and stays out in front. As each lap goes on, we are seeing these guys start to push in the corner a little bit. You saw the 14 really try to give it to the 34. In turns 3 and 4, didn't quite work out. Dawson Wise not able to get Cody Nagels to the front just yet. And you see Steve Korsak going to stay extra high. They'll go 4 wide, but just for a moment, they should be fine. Sure enough, they sneak by. Looks like Steve Korsak actually gets into the wall. We have 3 trucks lined up on the bottom further back. Maybe going to wait until the absolute end to avoid any potential wrecks. And that is going to be the 420. Don Runkle, Gail Brooks, Michael Malex, who is laps down. Ambrose Knievel has fallen off the pack currently in the tribal. Steve Korsak, as we just saw, has gone a lap down. Richard Sanchez still in the lucky dog spot. 3x3 up front. It looks like Michael Triscaro finally able to get out in front of the 11. He's going to drop low. That gives Vicente Guerrero some much-needed fresh air to the grill of that 14 machine. The 6, Cody Nagel, still fighting up top. And I'll tell you what, coming to the line, I think maybe I would like being in that middle or top lane over the bottom. That is usually where the run comes from. Start-finish line is farther here than it is at Daytona. That is certainly going to play a factor. Cody Nagel's moving ahead for just a second. Fighting back hard, though. Down low, the 11's pushing on the 34, Michael Triscaro. Very good to see these trucks able to push the turn, no problem. You like to see it. Can't really do that in the new truck series, but these guys proving it's not a problem. Oh, the 34 got a bad shot from the 11. That slows all their momentum down. And it looks like the 14, Vicente Guerrero, is going to get clear. Cody Nagels maybe as well. Sure enough, the 14 drops to the low line. And he is going to be followed by last week's winner, Paul Witt. Cody Nagels, will he drop to the middle? There he goes. Up top now, Dawson Wide's leading at the 987 is going to be the pusher, Mike Rimkus. Can he get Cody Nagels to the lead? We are coming to the last 5 laps this time. Who is going to win it at Talladega tonight? I know these guys sure don't want to see that 429 win it, especially some of these guys that are still in a battle for the championship. Cody Nagels had a rough race last week, trying so hard to recover this week. He's got a chance at it. If he could get to the lead, I'm thinking he would drop low. Michael Triscaro back up to the middle lane. He's thinking about it. Sure enough, he's going to stay there. We'll see if Cody Nagels pushes or jumps up one more lane. Into turn 3. These laps seem to go by slower and slower as these guys, every move they make is starting to be more and more crucial. Sure enough, there goes the 6. Up top, he leaves Michael Triscaro. The 987 is trying to pull that outside line back so he can get to the 34. It's not going to work. Cody Nagels gets clear. Does he drop down? Oh, they are 4 wide now for a moment. Zachary Lima has had enough. He's ready to go. Oh, there's contact. Zachary Lima is going to get into it. And it looks like no caution keeps it together. Big contact, though, right there for Zachary Lima. We'll take just a quick... Oh, caution is out. Never mind. Let's go back live. Yellow flag is out. Looks like everybody up front was able to keep it together. This caution, I believe, is going to be out, though, for the incident involving the 29 of Zachary Lima. So let's go back here, and we can show you what we're just about to look at as that caution came out. Thankfully, nobody else was caught up in this. These guys went 4 wide. It almost looked like they thought about maybe doing 5 wide, and sure enough, that was not going to work. Here we go. Let's take a look at one here. Watch Zachary Lima here. Sure enough, jumps to the outside. The 987 below him. I think maybe thought he had a little bit of room. The tribal gets wide, but all of a sudden it gets a lot tighter. 987, Zachary Lima coming down a little bit. 987 coming up. They make contact, and it looks like Zachary Lima is actually going to ride the wall here. Give all the fans a nice view of what's under these NASCAR Legacy trucks. Gets it back down on all 4. The fact that he held on to that as much as he did is still very impressive. I mean, all things considered. Let's see how the 987 fared out of this. I believe after he made that contact with Zachary Lima, he was able to hold on to it. Boom. And it really is that quick. Stick right on board with Zachary Lima. And I think just about every wreck we have had tonight, somebody has done something new and crazy that I have not seen before. Turn on board with the cockpit view here of Zachary Lima from where this move starts to where it ends. And there you go. Just like that, if he's got a fast pair sitting, he is going to have to use it. Let's go back up front. Your current top 5, Vicente Guerrero is leading. Second is going to be Paul Witt. Third, Cody Nagels. Fourth, Matt Wagner. And rounding out the top 5 is going to be Dawson Wise. We'll see if anyone decides to pit here. Maybe towards the back. I think maybe you think about it. But with only 1 set of tires, I got to believe just about everyone has already taken those. Zachary Lima is going to be the only taker of pit road. Let's see if he's got a faster pair. You'll know because that truck will magically have no more dents as soon as he gets into pit road. If he doesn't, though, his day probably going to be over with that much damage to the front and side of it. Looks like he has some in the back as well. And there you have it. All the dents pop out. He's got a clean truck. He's ready to go back racing. Looks like Cody Witt says, let's go. Paul Witt, the number 429. Well, I'll tell you what, he's going to be starting on the outside row. for what is going to be our first overtime. These truck lights should go off next time. Boy, it is dark here at Talladega. I wonder if it's hurting these guys' vision at all. It doesn't seem like it. That's a pretty cool looking sky there in the background. They're ready to get racy though. Wind not a factor, of course. Very dry air as well. Can Vicente Guerrero hold him off one more time? I'll tell you what. Let's go see if we can get an interview with last week's winner, Paul Witt. We'll be right back. And I have found last week's winner, currently sitting in second place. That's Paul Witt. Paul, you got a copy?
Sure do.
Well, you're leading the championship battle right now. You got to win last week, but what's it going to take to get another win right here and maybe have a chance at walking away with the championship?
I'll get a good restart, get in front of Vicente, and a caution come out.
Well, even if that caution doesn't come out and you're going to have to push all the way to the finish, you got some teammates near you that can maybe help you get this thing done?
Yeah, Vicente and I we'll work good together, and got some other guys in here too that I think we can get this done again.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. Hopefully I'm here talking to you after the race in victory lane. Good luck. And we will let those guys get back to it. We'll hop back up here in the booth as the lights are going to go off on the pace truck, and you heard it there. I assume that means these guys have no green-white checkers. Again, I could be missing something, but for right now, what we're going to assume is there are no green-white checkers, because you heard him say it there, get out in front, and then a yellow come out. DaleCup, these guys usually pretty professional. It's been a good race so far tonight. That last run, you got to remember how long we were 3 wide right there. Zachary Lima caught up in that wreck, but he's not out of it either. He's going to be back out here. Clean truck. Used a fast repair. We'll see if he can make up 13 spots, actually 14 spots, in 2 laps, because that's what's going to be a 2-lap shootout. We'll have to find out. And we are, of course, in overtime right now from what it looks like, so it may just be that one green-white checkered. Actually, what we'll do here while we wait for these guys getting lined up, let's take a look, see if we can find out real quick. Yeah, not 100% sure on it, so we will just have to see how it pans out. Either way, hopefully these guys can go green the rest of the way. Of course, if they do wreck on that white flag lap, it won't matter. They'll race it out either way. And that is where that saying checkers or wreckers comes in. Paul Witt, though, I'll tell you what, he sounded pretty confident. He's got a teammate, Vicente Guerrero, up here with him. We'll see if they can get it done. Kevin Nagels in the chat says, let's go 6. Of course, that is Cody Nagels. We talk about your top 5 one more time before this final restart. Vicente Guerrero first, Paul Witt second, Cody Nagels third, Matt Wagner fourth, and Dawson Wise 5th. And I think you have your teammates. You might work with them for that first lap. The last lap, you can forget about it. What does worry me a little bit is the damage on the rear end of this 429. You see it. Paul Witt, I don't think it's going to affect his speed. That's not what I'm worried about here. What I am worried about is somebody trying to push him with the bumper being that bent up. A lot easier for that driver to get sideways. The fans are on their feet, though. They're ready to go. It's going to be DaleCup overtime here at Talladega. Vicente Guerrero trying to win it. Paul Witt trying to steal it. Who's going to do it? Can Cody Nagels make something? How about Zachary Lima? He is really far back right now, but don't count him out. Everybody's on the lead lap. Steve Corset. Green flag is back out. 2 laps to go. Well, Vicente got a pretty good restart, but the 11 and the 429 are linked up right away. The 6, Cody Nagels, now finds the 14's bumper into turn 1. Already 3 wide. The 420 car jumps up top. We'll see if the 11 decides to leave the 429 or stick with him. Pushing him through the corner. You see these guys really snaking around. The mellow yellow car jumps up top. Some contact in the wall. Everybody stays clean right now. Up top, 3x3 starting to build. Timmy Reed, you saw him jump up top. The mellow yellow jump back down. Oh, the 429's in the wall. Zachary Lima also hits the wall. These guys are spinning out further back. No caution just yet. We'll see if we get to race it back. Paul Witt on the outside. Vicente Guerrero on the inside. Side by side into the trial, but we are coming to the white flag. That's going to mean one more time around. Who is going to win it? Three wide up top. Michael Triscaro trying everything. Just doesn't have any help right now. Now the 429 gets a nose out in front. If he gets clear, I got to think he'll think about dropping low. Matt Wagner's trying to push the 429 clear. We'll see if he tries to maybe take advantage of him. The 11 really wiggling around. Still no move yet. The 34, Michael Triscaro, hoping anybody will go with them. Nobody chooses to duck out of line yet. I think they're going to need to keep three trucks on that second lane to have a chance, because right now Cody Nagels is locked on to the 14, not making a move. This trial, though, it gets wide, so this race is not over. In fact, I don't even think it's all the way on until we get to the trial. But here we go, out of turn 4, down the short chute. One more time up top, Michael Triscaro blocks Richard Sanchez in that third lane. Into the trial for the final time. The 6, Cody Nagels looking for room, not going to find any right now. The 14, Vicente Guerrero wins at Talladega. What a win from the driver of the 14 Max Speed TV machine. It was a heck of a finish. Not a photo finish, didn't need to be though. He's going to be thanking this man right here, Cody Nagels. Nice job of pushing there at the end. We are going to go get interviews from your top 3, so we will go get all that set up while Vicente works his way around to do his burnout. We'll be right back. All right, and we are here with your top 3. Let's start with third place finisher Paul Witt. Paul, you got a copy?
Sure do. How you doing, Austin?
I'm good, man. How about you? Looks like you brought home third. I thought maybe you'd have a chance at the win. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out. Either way, though, you got to be happy about how your points are going to look after this race.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I just need to stay in front of Steve, and still, Cody's hanging in there too. So I got to watch out for him too. So it's going to be a rough battle next week.
It might be, but you had a damaged truck there at the end and still managed to get it done. Was there anything specific more that you needed there right at the end to potentially get the win?
No. I mean, Matt tried his heart out to get me up in there, and it was just it just wasn't enough. We didn't have enough. They had numbers on the bottom.
All right. Well, either way, congrats on the third place finish. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Big shout out to my wife and family, and the good Lord above for letting me come down here and do this week in and week out, and you broadcasting, and all my teammates. Vicente, we really work well together. So big shout out to him. Cody, big shout out to him for hanging me out to dry a couple of times, but it's all right.
I love you.
All right. Well, congrats on the third place finish, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Witt brings it home third in the 429 machine. Let's move on now to your second place driver, Cody Nagels. Cody, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, I'll tell you what, that trial sure looks wide. I thought maybe you were thinking about making a move. Were you thinking about trying to steal the win there at the end, or were you committed to pushing Vicente Guerrero to it?
I think if I could have got the win, I would have went ahead and took it. But I kind of calculated it, figured it wasn't really worth the risk. And Vince has been a longtime teammate of mine, So I am perfectly fine pushing him to the win.
All right, well, you got involved in a wreck early, one of the wildest wrecks I've ever seen. That's kind of a common theme of tonight. Somehow, though, you managed to get all the way back up here. How'd you do that?
They were being pretty kind with just since it was a smaller field, just waving everyone that got killed in those big wrecks and just getting them back on the lead lap. So really, if it weren't for that, I'd have been stuck at 2 laps down. So I was glad that I was able to get back up and mix it up a little bit and have a shot at the win there at the end.
All right, well, before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank all my teammates at both DaleCup and Limitless. It's always fun being able to run with and against them and kind of push each other to the limit and what we call sweating each other. That's really enjoyable. And then, of course, you, Austin, for broadcasting at Ghost Racing Network. Appreciate you hopping over on DaleCup on short notice. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you, man. Glad to be here. That's your second place finisher, Cody Nagels in the 6. Now let's move on to the winner, the man of the hour, Vicente Guerrero. Vicente, you got a copy?
Yo, Vince.
We can try him one more time here as he may just be getting ready. Your winner, Vicente Guerrero. Vicente, you got a copy? We will give him a second here while to see if he gets back. And I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go ahead and read off the finishing results while we wait for it. Finishing in first tonight, as you saw, the man we're waiting on an interview from, Vicente Guerrero. Second is going to be Cody Nagels. Third, Paul Witt. Fourth, Dawson Wise. And rounding out the top 5 is going to be Matt Wagner. 6th is going to be Dave Hunt. 7th is going to be Timmy Reed. 8th, Michael Triscaro. 9th, Richard Sanchez. 10th, Gail Brooks. 11th, Michael Rimkus. 12th, Chad Rowe. 13th is going to be Michael Malix. 14th, Don Runkle Jr. Boy, they make these guys' names small. Good run overall. Zachary Lima, unfortunately, back in 15th after running up front for most of the night. Ambrose Kniebel, 16th. And 17th, the man who started on the pole, not end his race the way he wanted to, Steve Korosek. And we will see if we got Vicente back here. We'll try him one more time. Vicente, Austin in the booth, you got a copy? And unfortunately, not looking like we're able to find him. We will go give him one more chance while we check out this finish because it was pretty good white flag lap. We saw a couple guys wrecking. So you know what I want to do is actually, let's get this off the screen. We'll go back a lap here. So here's what we'll do. Let's go back to the lap before this actually because we saw drivers wrecking with 2 to go. But with no iRacing cautions, that is why we didn't see one. And here we go. Let's watch it from here. Down the backstretch, I saw a couple guys get turned. Like Lima was one of them, and there was one more car. Let's see where this is going to start. Oh, there it is. It's going to be the 420. Don Runkle and Zachary Lima. Let's look at it from the chopper view. I think this is going to be just 2 guys kind of going for the same piece of real estate the exact same time. Maybe trying to go 4 wide. Usually that doesn't work here. Did not work out in this case. Sure enough, here we go. Contact is made. 420 loses it to Zachary Lima. He rides the wall down into 23, and then the wreck kind of on from there. A lot of these guys not able to miss it. Chad Rowe down into the inside wall. Steve Korosek in at the 987. Day ender for a lot of those guys. Then we'll go back up front because this is where things get a little interesting. Coming to that white flag lap right here. We'll speed it up a little bit to down the back stretch. 14, Vicente Guerrero. Thought right here Paul Witt was going to have a chance to drop down. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite get clear. Matt Wagner pushing with everything he had. That's what we heard Paul say down the backstretch right here. Vicente takes the lead, and right here it just seemed like Cody Nagels was locked on. Not really much more the 11 could do. He's trying to push the 429 in the corner. Out of turn 4, here we go. This is where I thought maybe in the trial Cody Nagels would think about making a move. We heard him say it just didn't look like it was going to work out for the risk involved in it. Things tighten up. Paul Witt making sure to hold it close on that 6 machine in the trial and to the line. Vicente Guerrero wins it by a pretty decent margin. Slow it down to show you that margin of win. Looks like he gets it by about a truck and a half. 6/100ths of a second is what we have it scored as. Pretty impressive victory. And let's try it one more time before we wrap up the broadcast tonight. Vicente Guerrero, Austin in the booth. You got a copy. And not look like we're going to... Sorry, I was going to say, Looks like we're not going to be able to get an interview with him as he is having some technical difficulties, unfortunately. Either way, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for us here at Ghost Racing Network. Don't forget, we will be back next week for DaleCup. That will be the final race. We will crown a champion. We'll see if Paul Witt can hold on to it and how the points are going to shake up after this race. Thank you to everybody for coming out. I hope you all did enjoy, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.